Good morning. What a fantastic morning to be looking for slugs. It's nice and overcast, it might be a bit warm, but I'm Dr. Michael Nash, colloquially known as the slug hunter, and we're here today on behalf of GRDC looking for slugs and trying to identify what species we've got so we can understand the risk for next year. So we're trying to understand population dynamics of slugs. So I've got this refuge mat here, and basically trying to look under these refuges early in the morning, particularly on warmer days, is really important. So, pretty difficult technique really. Just lift it up and have a look underneath. Geez, we've actually got some slugs here. That's quite amazing. It's been so dry here in South Australia, I didn't expect to see any, but we have got slugs here. And we've actually got more than one species. So I'm going to get my special Slug ID tool out to actually have a look. We'll start off with the black keeled slug, and you can see here we've got three of them together. They tend to cluster, but what's real important is see that ridge there. That ridge actually runs all the way from the tip of the tail up to that important piece there that's called the mantle, which looks like a saddle. And you can see here, although they're called black keeled slugs, they can be actually quite light in colour and be a light brown. This may or may not suggest a juvenile, but to really know that we have to cut him open. We'll do that later. Now, over here is a striped field slug. And the first thing we want to look for when we're identifying slugs is this breathing pore and where it is. So just in there, there is a breathing pore. You can see it there now. He's had a breath. And that is to the back end, to the back half of that saddle. Now, all the common species we find in broadacre settings have that breathing pore at the back of the mantle. So this species here is in the genus Ambiolimax. We think, because we've dissected slugs from this site before, that it's Ambiolimax valentinus, but there is another one, Watersonii, and we can't tell the difference between the two species unless we do dissections. But you can clearly see here that they have a clear mucus and they've got these distinct stripes on them. Got a brown field slug here as well. So we have a brown field slug here, and again, if we poke this guy, one, they'll flick their tail, but two, they'll produce a clear mucus again. But again, these guys have the breathing pore at the back. They're actually quite fast movers, and they have a really steep tapering off at the tail where you see there is a little bit of a ridge, but it's just on the tip of the tail. But this one's a little bit hot. It will flick its tail and move quite quickly when they're healthy and active. But this guy here, again, has a breathing pore at the back of that mantle and has a clear mucus. Usually these brown and grey field slug species actually sit on the mat itself when you roll it up, particularly if you get out of bed quick enough. So the fourth species we found under the mat is the grey field slug, Deroceras reticulatum. This is a very small individual, and I would suspect that this is a juvenile. These are the ones that will survive over summer and pose the biggest risk to establishing canola next year. There's one that's grown and slightly bigger. Again, another grey field slug, Deroceras reticulatum. If he wants to go for a walk, hopefully, we might get to see that breathing pore again at the back of the mantle. It is very difficult to identify such small slugs, but hopefully, if we pester him enough, we'll see some white mucus. So The grey field slug again has the breathing pore at the back half of the mantle, back in here. Has a more tapered tail with a bit of a ridge on the back end only, and produces a white mucus. Again, under this map, we've only seen these very small individuals that would suggest that the last season's adults have bred over the winter, have died off, and have left these guys to survive in the soil over the summer and pose the biggest risk next year. So moving into the springtime, it's really important to understand how many of these guys we actually see, so we have an understanding of the risk for next season. So we'll fold this over, leave it for next time, come back in about a month, continue our spring monitoring. This old man will try and get up. Oh, look at that. You can get something out of me every single time, but you can get more information also from the GRDC Back Pocket Guide, which goes into the details and a key for the different slug species. Again, thanks very much for your time. I'll leave you to it.